his addition and what he adds to the team?
Look, I think when we saw him play at his best, he was playing those solo site holds in the small sites.
Is this for the old Direwolves team?
Well,
Is that what you're thinking? Yep.
This is also recently what we've seen from him in Exile 5 as well.
Okay.
They're playing him those solo, more so in his Exile 5 role than anything else. But when he was playing his best, he was playing those solo site holds. So I think he adds, when he's playing well, he adds an element to the team that is an undoubtable contribution in the sense that if he can hold that site well, he allows the rest of the team to free up and hold the other areas of the map. On a map like Cobble, probably not going to be doable. As you said, there's multiple choke points. I think there's, 4 choke points and 5 counter-terrorists to try and cover it. It's probably not a favourable situation for a solo site hold, but nonetheless, his contribution to the team, I think, in some instances, he's quite a sharp player. I think sometimes he's not utilised correctly.
Well, we'll be able to see momentarily. It looks as though the players are going live, so we might jump into the action. Potentially the spec feature. I think it is working fine. The players there just making sure that CBK, the coach of XL5, everything was fine for him as has joined the server to coach the team. Curiously on the second map in this series, but it will be Incept here starting on the T side. So that defensive dance will be called into question potentially quite early, but he's gone very aggressive along with Tux there at the A side halls and getting so much information as to the whereabouts of the T's as they look to make their way towards B, and they do bust onto the side again. Not much information as to their presence before the attack was upon CT. So Ferg caught out of position here, trying to stop that plan, but not to be the case, actually connecting with the headshot there onto Zudex through the smoke nonetheless, but the bomb has been planted. MFM. The man from Malta on the lurk does find Tux, and Chaotic also chime in with frags. So, situation as is, as Incept continue their dominance over XL5, looking really strong here. And whilst Danz is now on the lurk, having to try and retake the B side, it's mission impossible for him as T's have his number, take him down, and Incept, they'll be happy with their strong start.
Yeah, they should be. And it was a good little push from XL5, as you said. It got a lot of information, but very quick to pull the trigger, Incept, on that B bomb site hit, and that's probably where things got a little bit hairy for XL5. As we said, it's a tough map, particularly on pistol rounds when Glocks get into those tight spaces, and it gets a little bit difficult for the cities to try and hold those choke points.
It's also strange to me to see both Dance and Tux both push through the A side halls. Whilst it gets a lot of information, it also means that those players are so far away from the B site that ultimately the information was almost meaningless in the sense that they couldn't have more members at B to capitalise off the back of having that correct read there. So for me, I'd probably be more inclined just to send 1 side halls and maybe 1 mid if I was really intent on having 2 a day. But nonetheless, XL5 perhaps having some time after this match to think that through. Tux doing a good job with that scout, having bought into this round quite heavily of finding that frag through the box nonetheless onto Chaotic, and leaves us now in a 4 versus 4.
Incept just making their way back towards that A bomb site. Solo site defense at the moment from Ferg, just sitting in those A halls, and they're going to come clear them out too. So there's going to be asked a few questions shortly as they do give up his position. Zudex takes him down quite swiftly with that MAC-10. Hex tries to get his way onto the bomb site. XE actually spots him out, but his position is well communicated now. Surely they're not going to let him get a few frags. He does actually pick up 1. Unfortunately, Pex does go down in a blaze of glory, but Tux getting right up in the face of the terrorist with that scout. And a lot of pressure now on Incept to hold this bomb site. The counter-terrorists are right there, breathing down their necks.
That's right, it's down to a 2 versus 2 and doing a lot of damage, but given their investment, you can't help but think they'll probably be wanting a little bit more out of this round than just getting 3 frags, but that's what they're going to have to be content with there as XC does a good job of finding the last 2 kills. And despite the, I'm not sure you referred to it, the went down in a ball of flames or something of the
Blaze
sort.
of glory.
Blaze of glory. I knew there was some sort of fired connotation or reference there. XL5 now 0-2 and they will fully eco this round. But at the moment, Incept, they've got to be happy with the way they're going. Actually keeping that Tech 9 in the hands of Chaotic. So I like the fact that they're backing themselves. The confidence clearly here at the moment for Incept.
It is, and it's good to see in their gameplay because, as we said, I think that was the first hurdle that they needed to get over when approaching XL5's. Chaotic just leaps that hurdle straight into that B bomb site, opens things up. Exia supports him well, but they essentially, once they had a little bit of confidence in them, started to really push the envelope with what they were doing to XL5, and that was probably typified a little bit in their willingness to change the tempo as well on a few of those rounds. So, Incept here at the moment. Do have the run of play. Tux will be taken down by that SMG, that $600, the Dank Bank, making Skrilla. Incept, though, take the first 3 rounds. XL5 will buy in and hopefully start to cut them down a little bit.
Yeah, Tux has got that early AWP here. Really curious to see as to the position that he does take it. Can be very efficient on a map such as Cobblestone to find that opening frag. We already spoke at length about the fact that it can be so difficult from a CT perspective to get that early pick, particularly with the ladders and these bomb sites. So if you can use that AWP to do so, can be worth its weight in gold at the moment as MFM looks to try and clear the A-holes on his own nonetheless, but that early frag will, or flash I should say, will push back Ferg from his position, and good use of the smoke there will actually stop or stall the progress of the terraces. Not wanting to venture through, not knowing what's on the other side. Dan's meanwhile setting himself up on the platform here. So the CT's doing a good job at least of holding off a potential early onslaught and now look to find that frag in the mid round.
Tux looking to find that frag. Yeah, Hills, but the push from Ferg is unsuccessful. Does catch out MFM, but doesn't actually take him down at all. And now it leaves them in a 4 versus 5. That Molotov pushes Dan's off the platform, in fact. And now relinquishing a lot of territory. XL5 allowing Incept to get right up close here. And they're going to have their pick of the bomb sites as they make their way through. Zane just looking for that frag to see whether or not anyone from XL5 is a little bit too inquisitive. But Incept are now rallying around him and they will look to hit this B bomb site.
Well, if X5 aren't careful here, they might be caught off guard with only 2 members in B. Mizu and Tux both linger at the A site for a little bit too long for my liking. Mizu now rotates towards drop room to help out, but Chaotic's already found his way into the side. You can see the freedom that he's been given as can't quite connect there into Tex, but complete control of the site at the moment going the way of Incept as XL5 look to try and fight back, but it will be Tux that loses his life. Zane doing a great job of finding that headshot. He's really been chiming in throughout this match as required with some great kills as Pex now has to go 1 versus 3 and works his way through the smoke, and it'll be good enough to find one cheap frag there into MFM, but quickly Zudex takes him down to that AWP, proving to be such a decisive factor in that round as Incept get that opening kill. MFM it was onto a very adventurous Ferg, and then like you said, just played the numbers game and busted onto the B side and won out as the team stab comes in, which is never going to help.
No. But luckily, it isn't an invested round. XL5s have just a few upgraded pistols across the board here. That boost. Mizu gets taken down. Chaotic just well aware that that was happening, and I think Mizu gave him a few opportunities to do so. As they failed to get up on that jump. Now they are being taken left, right, and centre here. MFM takes down Ferg and Tux in quick succession. Just leaves Pex now on this B bomb site. He's swindling in that smoke and should stay alive a little bit, potentially even do some damage.
Lots of
smoke. Was his friend, now his enemy.
For the 17 seconds in which the smoke was there, they were best of friends, Jim, at least until it started to dissipate and Chaotic ripped his head off. And Incept at the moment, we said that they've won the first map and they must win this series to keep their hopes alive. Well, they've started out the second in similar fashion to Cache, but worrying signs here for XL5 early on is they're really getting blown apart across all aspects of the map at the moment against Hux. Does have that AWP this time, taking it towards the B side and might look to get boosted up here on the platform to try and use that long range to his advantage. Dan's lending his head to the cause there as actually MFM and Co making their way through the A side hall, so mixing things up. 4 of the terrorist hit, busting 2 and Ferg on the boost. He watches them all run by, picks up a 3rd XD not reacting. I'm not sure how that went down. Zudex quickly trying and does take down Ferg, but somehow Ferg was granted clear passage there to shoot at them.
Great work from Zudex though, brings it back to a 2 versus 2, so now the terrorists can have their pick of the sites. They're not going to commit to this A bomb site just yet. They're going to work their way back around, and they're going to go back straight towards B. MFM leading the charge there. They do slow up a little bit now, and looking at the overlay, both counter-terrorists are sitting in the A bomb site, so we've got the perfect read and the perfect play here against XL5, and momentarily I think Tux might head back towards B, but a lot of territory gained at the moment by Incept.
Yeah, I don't think that on a map such as Cobblestone, it's the best idea from a CT perspective to stick together in a 2 versus 2. It can be really hard to retake these bomb sites. A site in particular, but even the B site, given the fact that the T's can quickly and easily get up onto that platform and make it a nightmare from a CT perspective. But it will be the case that they're going to have to go for this retake here, Jim. As Tux, he will hear that noise, he will see those smokes, and won't be able to see the terrorists as they now have to retake.
Right, now we do see Retake will come in. Tux just waiting at those double doors. As now they do stream through. Dans and Tux making their way onto the site. They do come into contact with MFM. He's traded out quite quickly there. And now leaves the 1 versus 1. Both players possessing an AWP at the moment. As they do the dance around. Dans though just tapping that defuse. Forcing Zudex to come out of his hidey hole. He misses that shot though. And is going to go chasing with the pistol. But Zudex just too good at ring around the rosy at the moment. As that bomb time is ticking. And Zudex comes out winner there. Incept extend their lead 6-0. Exile 5 just being given the runaround at the moment. I think that's an analogy for how things are going down.
I think aptly so. Dan's just with a little bit of hesitation there in that 1 versus 1. You saw when he actually pulled out the pistol that he was a little bit hesitant to push through the lane, and ultimately it meant that I think Zudex was able to get around that corner to safety and ultimately win out. But from an X5 perspective, that was a heartbreaking round to lose. I think after Ferg picked up the 3 frags in the side halls and really set up that round. And at the moment, Incept just having their way as they charge onto the B side. No resistance there at all. Chaotic is joining the CT calls as he's looking to almost double boost the CTs up. He was that close to them and perhaps was that way inclined.
Just get in there and do it yourself, son. If you see him having trouble, help him out.
But Incept at the moment, 7-0. They've got to be happy. But I can't stress enough on a map like Cobblestone how important it is from a CT perspective to not give up a plant, or at least get early information to prevent the plant. A bomb site, as I guess nightmarishly has a reputation for being impossible to get back through the doors or almost through Romeo/Juliet if the T's have already got secure or secured their way onto the site. B side is a similar thing, as we saw Exile 5 not able to win out on that retake, and they will invest this round and try and have some more success as the B attack is coming in.
Right, they've already hit that bomb site. Chaotic opens things up. Tux though finds a swift reply. They are streaming onto this bomb site here. Exile gets himself in the drop room, takes out Dans, and is putting pressure here now on Tux, just pinned down at the rock. Does make his way around. Easy shot there onto Exile. Nice close quarters shotgun AWPing as we do see now. The CTs are right there. Pressure on Incept at the moment. They shouldn't go for the plant just yet. They need to take these fights, but it now leaves a 3 versus 1 situation. Caught out there, Ferg. Loving that Colt spray at the moment. He got 3 last round. As you said, heartbreaking for them not to win it. He finishes the job himself this time, making no mistake.
Well, it's actually surprising to me. I think it's fair to say that Ferg, over the 1.5 maps, maybe 1 and a bit maps that we've seen so far, he's been producing the most frags from an Exile 5 standpoint, and certainly you'd be thinking, looking at that roster, that he'd be relying on his teammates to try and get the job done a little bit more so, but he's been the one leading from the front. Unfortunately, hasn't had the support that he would have liked, but at least in that round, Exile 5 make ends meet, and you can see that Incept can easily afford to buy, and this time it will be X here, pushing through the B platform, but Tux again, showing his proficiency at close range and at long range. I think it's fair to say with that AWP, as he gets the first, throws a HD down, but connects onto Zane, taking him down to 83 points of health, and for the time being, B platform is Tux's fortress.
And Incept just making their way back around the map. Bomb gets collected and then dropped back in those B halls, but they're just grouping up here towards B at the moment. They're going to try and wrestle back control of the platform here from XL5. Tux holding strong with that AWP. Look to get another pick. Catches Zudex with that flash and takes him out quite swiftly. Pex chimes in, getting chaotic. Thought he was getting a bit sneaky there and getting out the drop room, but Pex was all over that one. Tux again chimes in with that AWP, and now left on MFM. He's all the way over the A bomb site. The bomb is down into B halls, so his first job is to go and collect that. Mizu actually legs him as he makes his way through and finishes the job there with the pistol before taking a lot of damage. But another round, an important round there for XL5. Only their second in this half.
Yeah, Incept's not out of the, I guess, dog caves just yet. Let's not forget that on Keisha was their CT side that did struggle a little bit when they looked to close out the match. So it'll be so important for these guys on the terrorist side now to secure as many rounds as possible and have that big lead heading into the second half to make their job a little bit easier. Mizu this time with AWP pushing out side horse, and XL5 at the moment look a little bit more confident now. Certainly those AWPs have been helping them tremendously in terms of locking out the sights, and the T's perhaps a little bit scared potentially of those sniper rifles as they're playing very cautious at the moment, not wanting to push through those smokes on platform. And Dan's actually takes his life in his hands as he flashes through and jumps up, gets his timing right there before the smokes are dissipated, but he's going to be relying on that teammates to support him now as he tries to hide behind the platform box. Gives away his position now though, but does get the first. Can he get the second? Connects through the smoke and jumps down to the safety. Tux saving the daisy takes down Exile as Dance does reload, eventually picking up a third for himself with Chaotic as well. And for the second time in 2 rounds, it will be Exile 5 not just winning, but winning without giving away a loss of life.
Yeah, nice clean round. Something Exile 5 needed. Not just for their economy, but more so for their confidence as well. As we said, their confidence would have taken a little bit of a battering as a result of going down early. And I think now that the complacency is out of their game, they need the confidence to creep back in. And Mizu takes that early frag there. That's got to be a confidence-building frag to speak of. As he actually Molotovs himself on the exit. Not having too much luck with these Molotovs, is he, at the moment, poor old Mizu?
No, he needs a little bit more practice, I think, getting the strings right. But at the moment, it will be the guns that are doing most of the damage, if not Mizu's Molotov, as Ferg does get the fourth and fifth, I should say, of the round, and actually gets a triple for himself. So Ferg again leading from the front, the first to reach double digits, and Exile 5 now starting to mount their own little comeback here, and we did say that potentially CT rounds can be hard to come by, so Exile 5 will just be reassuring themselves that, look, if we can manage to win this round, it would force potentially Incept onto another eco, and then we're starting to get back in the ballpark at the moment as Zudex does have that AWP looking for that early aggression, but not sure if he'll spot it out just yet. No, he will, but the flash might take away his vision of the side halls and allows potentially Mizu and Ferg in that instance to fall back.
Yeah, just being held at bay at the moment, Incept, as they do try and find an opening in this XL5 defense. As you can see, funnily enough, they're almost aligning the counter-terrorists on the map. MFM takes a bit of damage through that door and a smoke. Being tagged down to 5 HP. There's a pause coming in at the end of the half, or the end of the round, should I say. So I'm assuming it's something technical, but XL5 at the moment, just holding strong across the map. Incept haven't been yet able to find an opening into the round. Now we'll try and work one. Mizu misses a shot. And that grenade should do a lot of damage there. Zudex takes it on the nose, but he does take the shot. Takes down his opposing number in Mizu in that instance. And that's the opening Incept need. They're going to pull the trigger any moment on this B-bomb site hit.
The all 5 members there are at drop room or near the plateau at the moment. The smokes and flashes, they'll come running over the top, so XL5 quickly having to read as to an eventual incoming onslaught. As the 5 terrorists now look to make their way onto the side. Only 30 seconds left here, so there's good counter flashes by Tux and Co actually stalling their progress. And Chaotic, they're not able to capitalize on that opening that he had. And all of a sudden, X5 with the flurry of frags, they turned it into a 2 versus 1. And actually opting for the aggressive boost here up onto the tree, trying to catch Zudex off guard. But if Tux doesn't make this shot, this could be the opening that he does need to just clench this round. But Tux shows that consistency, proving his prowess with that AWP, winning that duel. And Incept now probably fortunate that a pause has come in here. It was called by XL5. We suggested or thought it might be a technical issue, potentially, but it'll still give Incept an opportunity to talk things through.
Definitely, and they should be taking it too, because the progression on this T side has halted. XL5, though, the only thing different for me that they've done is essentially brought in that second AWP, and it's now gone. Mizu doesn't possess that anymore. But they were playing a little bit more aggressive in the early exchanges. XL5 were just trying to take the fights and get that pick early on. It was working. And Incept just struggled from that point forward.
Well, it's interesting to hear that the second ult might have been potentially the catalyst that you're talking about for X5, because it's not as though Mizu in particular was doing tremendous damage with the AWP. I mean, he's only got 3 frags at the moment. Potentially even just the presence and him being there was enough to potentially make Incept a little bit more conservative or scared. There's another choice of words that potentially he might use. But nonetheless, our pistols this round and just one ult to contend with. But again, that aggression, Jin, that you spoke of, is coming to fruition here as Pex is boosted up.
Right, and he should. He does come into contact. Does take chaotic. Not able to find that second frag, though. He does a lot of damage there to Zane, but of course loses his battle there. As now the pressure is coming onto the drop room. We actually get a few frags here, so the trades are coming out. Do favour the CTs at the moment. And Zudex is just making his way through, making his presence known. Does take the shot, perhaps unnecessarily, and gives his position away. Tux takes him and the bomb down and leaves MFM in a bit of a tight situation now. Just stuck in the drop room. They know where he is. He can't get away. He needs to take the fights in order to get out, but without that bomb in hand, it's going to be a difficult haul for him.
He's not shy of giving away his presence. He's just looking for potentially any sort of over-aggressive counter-terrorist, but Dan's, Ferd, and Tux doing a good job of just holding their lines at the moment, and there's nowhere he can go as much as he'd like. He cannot boost himself back up. He's trapped in there and will take a duel. Ultimately, he will lose out there. But Jim, how close do you think Mizu is to potentially copping a team ban from using grenades? We've joked about his Molotov use. In that instance, he lobbed a HE up. It bounced off the wall and landed back in Pex's face. I love this.
I think you need some sort of seminar to attend on grenade mechanics.
Pex there had this perfect line as he was boosted up, ready to mow out down all these terrorists that were coming his way, only to see a grenade bounce back in his face. But nonetheless, Incept, they can buy into this round, and MFM trying to open up B.
Being a support player just isn't his thing, but MFM, as you said, opened up B quite well. Gets himself in, gets his team in as well. XL5 just crumbling now. Mizu gets taken down. They will throw some Molotovs over to Nando's. Get that bomb plant down. XL5 though, right there for that retake.
Well, they have found the first. Ferd actually taking out one, but does get traded very quickly here, so it's still going to mean advantage to the terrorist team, and all of a sudden, it's just Tux left to contend with in a 1v4, and opting to keep that zoom in, doesn't want to actually give away that sound cue if he was to unscope and then rescope as required. So at the moment, he's just trying to play the angle game, make sure he doesn't get killed from above, but meanwhile actually heading towards the B side and looking to catch them off guard, does just that, and actually makes a bit of a dash for the bomb here, actually hoping potentially that the terrorist had left the site on the hunt for his AWP, but realises as he rips the head off X here that not to be the case, and potentially saving that AWP might be his best play, but still does a good job of doing that economic damage there into Incept, who had struggled for a while to string together a round, but coming good at the end of the half.
Yeah, right in time. But now we can see XL5, that dank bank that they built up, allows them to buy into this round quite easily. Tux could even afford to drop another AWP there.
There's a few guns there on the round for him.
Yeah, wouldn't mind seeing another AWP. Even if it was to just change up XL5's play initially, as we said, they work quite well with that second AWP as CT. But nonetheless, decisions have been made. They are going to file out a spawn the terrorists as they do make their way to those early choke points. Smoke doesn't actually pop for me, but there is a smoke in that drop room, so...
Yeah, just a spectator bug, because I had the same issue myself as well. But yeah, there's definitely a smoke there at the moment, just halting the progress of Chaotic, I do believe, in the drop room. Whilst XC does just look to make some noise and distraction for himself at A, but he's actually supported in tow by both MFM, Men from Malta, and also Zudex. So if Ferg's not careful here, he might be caught off guard. And at the moment, whilst Dan's and Mizu might be so focused and orientated towards the B side, it might be the A side that's getting called into question here.
And just asking a few questions here, Incept. They're willing to do so. They're going to make their way through those A halls, though. We do see now the bomb make its way up danger, those danger stairs. Clearing things out, and MFM just wary of that position. Very wary, thanks to Ferg. But XL5 are actually rotating, or were caught rotating in between the sites. Now, Ferg has the info that he needs. He's being pressured at the A site, but we'll call a few of his teammates over to help. The full rotation almost coming out, leaving Tux at B.
No, but the terrorists are almost so slow to execute here as they were spotted out, but still they haven't even made their way onto the site, potentially waiting for their troops in mid to help the cause, but it's not to be. Third ripping the head of Chaotic, MFM doing a great good job of taking one and a second, and the same gets a third. All of a sudden, X5's defense has been torn apart here at AMFM. Takes down his third for the round, Dan's behind the APC. Doesn't prove to be much of an obstacle as MFM rips apart the heart out of XL5 and Tux now and again in a 1v3, but this time it'll be no use to say that AWP, it is the last round of the half and needs to go 1v3 here.
Right, and we'll get the first frag down onto X here, just walking into the crosshair, just aware of the position, potentially at the bottom of mid, but might even get caught from behind, as funnily enough, he actually changes his position there in the A-holes, MFM, and now Tux needs to act quickly, not able to do so. As we said, 9-6 to score. Incept just rallying late in that half after a really good start.
It was a similar story to Caish, wasn't it? I do believe the first half, Jim, was at 9-6 on Caish to the T side of Incept, I think it was.
It was. It panned out a little bit differently, though, I guess, in the sense that XL5 had the first run of play in that map. But this, for me, felt as though Incept started quite strong, lost their way a little bit in the middle, let a few rounds bleed out, XL5 got themselves back in, and now they finished the half quite strongly again.
We'll see how well XL5 can hold their own now on the terrorist side. They do have a lot of utility to support themselves and heading towards the B side very slowly. I'll be interested to see what sort of set smokes and flashes they've got in store for us at the moment. You can see from a CT perspective, this time they do have 4 at B. MFM scouting for information at A. He knows it's going to be a B attack and he'll communicate that to his team as Pex and Go funnel their way onto the site. Pex doing a great job of tagging down X here in cheeky Nando's spot. Tux ultimately does get the frag. Full good measure there. Gets a second as well. And a third at long range. Taking down Chaotic, ripping the life out of Incept in that instances. They do look to secure this pistol round. It will just be man from Malta, but that's where he's set back packing towards. His Exile 5 do close out that first pistol round of the second half.
Oh, the cheek of Tux at the Nando's spot. Just taking those P50 headshots. Swift justice was dealt there by that man in question they call Tucker. And a crucial round for XL5. That's the start that they needed in this second half. As we said, the run of play felt largely like it was Incept's. Now they're just trying to stem that tide. We do see some upgraded pistols coming out. In fact, even a shotgun there on Zane.
I'll be curious to see what he can do with the shotgun. I'm not going to lie. I think it would be fantastic from a spectator standpoint if he could go huge with it, but I'm not yet a believer. XL5 actually have shown, even on cage, that they've actually been quite proficient, as Sudex does find one there, and actually being very cautious on these anti-eco rounds and doing a good job of making an informed decision. But at the moment, they've actually lost their in-game leader. It's MFM actually down to Pex as well, so what am I saying here is Incept have actually found an opening. They've taken out 3 members and just Tux and Mizu left alive. Zane's still with that shotgun, but it'll be Chaotic and the pistols that are doing the work at the moment. They've grabbed one and Tux now in a world of pain as Chaotic rains down upon him. And Zane chimes in. You did get an assist there with the shotgun. Good work.
Not quite the $900 that you would have wanted, though.
I think you'll be content with winning the eco round nonetheless, but XL5, they're just getting picked apart. I'm not sure how MFM was able to find those 2 frags, not just picking up third, but also taking down Pex before there was any chance of retaliation coming in from XL5 there. So a little bit disjointed in that attack, just as I was giving them kudos and credit for the poise and composure that they showed on anti-eco rounds on the previous map. It does fall apart for them now, and XL5 will reinvest, trying to turn the tables and get some momentum back in their stead as they head towards B.
Tech 9 train is coming. They have sounded the horn as they enter this B bomb site. Tux is on point there with that Tech 9. He doesn't actually get the first frag. He does have to plant the bomb. Berg, though, is the one that opens the account. That's flanked, though. Does take the bomb planted down, delays it there. Great work from Zudex in that situation. He does get traded out, but leaves Ferg now in a 2 versus 1. Make that a 1 versus 1 after that grenade. Just punches Exu. And now Chaotic finds Ferg there, nice and easily. Great work from him. And it looked really dangerous there from Incept as they got into, or for Incept as XL5 got into that site. The Tech 9 train was real.
Oh, that could have so easily have gone the other way there. You can't help but feel for Ferg. It looked as though his crosshair placement was a little bit off. I think he might have actually been looking at the ground, trying to see if he could find perhaps a remnant gun that had been left behind on one of the dead bodies of Incept, who had obviously invested with rifles, SMGs and the lot in that round. But as he was looking for a gun on the ground, he was caught off guard as Chaotic stepped around and one out in that clutch situation. Good work by him picking up a triple kill. But like you said, XL5 now, Jim, they're just tempted into buying again in this round because despite losing, they know they've done so much damage to the economy of Incept, and if they were able to potentially win this round, it might reset the city's economy, but it can be a dangerous trap sometimes, a downward spiral if you can't get across the line.
Right, you don't want to find yourself doing an E-frag.
Oh, God.
I knew you'd enjoy that one. But MFM gets taken down, Tux, in that side hole there. He's quickly traded out. Zudex just standing there quite well with that, or finding the frag when necessary. Chaotic picks up Ferg in the drop room, and now the pendulum has shifted back in favour of Incept. That shot from Zudex, though. Little flick of the wrist there onto Mizu. Now leaves it in a 2 versus 4. Quite split up, though, at the moment, Dans and Pex.
Yeah, but Dan's had a really forward position there and did a great job of catching Zane off guard, but good retaliation there from Chaotic. Had his whereabouts, so he was able to flick around, take him down. 1 versus 3 now.
And he lost the bomb, though. I think that's the main point. He lost the bomb in the CT connector, so tough enough as it was. Pex just taken down quickly by that P90 of Exia. Incept. Similar scoreline again. 7-12. And a key moment in this match where Exile 5 have been again put on to an eco.
Most certainly, and it's Incept again leading from the front here, whilst there was that patch there in the first half where they lost their way, or they lost their whereabouts, I think it's fair to say, lost their way a little bit. at the moment. They're looking really strong here. XL5 on an eco, or at least I like this from them. We didn't see much of that on Cache, where XL5 actually committed to a full eco so that they could get a stronger purchase in the next round. But that looks to be the decision that's been made at the moment, and potentially might come at the cost of one round here, but trying to play the long game as Zane does a good job of avoiding that flash, actually backpedaling at just the right time, finds a nice double for himself. We'll hear a few more though. Pulls out the CZ in time, has the opportunity to get it out, but ultimately we pegs them down to take down one apiece. So down to a 3 versus 3 as pressure applied on the B side here in the CTs. They're collapsing under the pressure. It's now down to a 2 versus 2. NFM to the rescue. Drops down third, drops down the bomb. Pegs Moscow 1 versus 2.
Pex, the famed AWPer from Exile 5. He has that big green in his hand, but unfortunately not able to do so much. So much for the hype around him being an AWPer.
I think that was tongue-in-cheek comment there, as potentially shooting down some rumours as to his AWPing ability. He's the first to admit that prefers the rifle in hand, but in that instance, I think knowing that his team was on eco, he'd take anything he could be given.
And the tactical pause comes out from Exile 5. Quite clear too that they need to rework their strategy because they're in a bit of a pickle. Would you agree?
I'm a fan of pickles.
God. You did name your all-star team after them.
That's right, it was Pickle Peppers. But no, I think XL5 at the moment, they certainly need to talk things through. It's fair to say Incept at the moment, again, look like the better team. I think if people to reflect back on this match later on, if it goes the way it's looking at the moment, it's fair to say the Incept were the ones that won this match, as opposed to XL5 losing it. Certainly full credit and kudos must go to them at the moment. They're making some sick shots. That AWP kill from Zudex in that previous round, or maybe even one prior to that, that was a great reaction shot. And it's frags like that have left Incept in such a strong position here. But let's not forget the context of this match. Incept must win this to have a chance at still making the LAN finals. That's black and white. XL5, it's a little bit murkier. A win here would certainly go a long way to securing themselves a spot, but it's not essential. They can still mathematically get through if they were to lose tonight, and if they can clinch that win against Alpha Sydney later on in the week, that would be enough to potentially still get them across the line. But who would have thought nonetheless that XL5 would even find themselves in such a position here where they could be getting eliminated or on the verge of doing so? This is an incredible storyline, and it's, I think, just goes to show the rise of Incept over the last few months. Since they came second in the previous ECA League as Orderless Warriors, they've gone from strength to strength. Their teamwork and fundamentals we've been quite quick to give praise to tonight, and for good reason. It's been great to watch them play. It's been a great matchup.
Yeah, it has been. It's been quite exciting too. I mean, Incept play, they don't do anything particularly fancy. They just play the fundamentals of teamwork really well. And continuing to do so in this second map, we thought that particular skill set of theirs was going to be quite handy on Cobble, and it's proving to be. And that's, to me, has been the difference at the moment. XL5, whilst they might have some really, I guess, some experienced players, some young up-and-comers, some talent there, at the moment, they're not quite the full package.
Well, at the moment, it just seems to me it's as though it's the Tux and Ferg show for an XL5 perspective. Some of the other members haven't risen to the party tonight. They need to try and, I guess, reinvigorate that energy and fire now as we head towards the back end of this second map. And Tux has that AWP. We've seen him put that to good use on more than one occasion tonight, but taking it towards A at the moment. So curious to see how this pans out, as he doesn't really have the support of too many players. Just Mizu might not lend itself to taking that aggressive approach that perhaps we'd be hoping for as he tries to open up the round for his team, as Chaotic actually rotates back, just making sure A is on lockdown. Zudex has such a forward position there on the B platform, but as he spots out the shoulder of one member, he's forced to retreat back towards the side, and that rotation will come back from A towards B.
Incept at the moment, just trying to gather their thoughts. Let's see, so just wait and see what XL5 can throw at them at the moment, but no picks have been made in the round. It's a minute left on the clock. It's been quite a peaceful round in that regard. But XL5 at the moment going to look to group up towards B, perhaps even sell a fate with Mizu at the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, really curious to see what Mizu actually does here. Whether he's going to play the silent lurk or try and make some sort of distraction, yet to be seen. At the moment, he's just biding his time. He hasn't given his presence away, so as the B attack comes in, he'll be trying to perhaps kill off that rotation before it can really eventuate. His teammates lining out their smokes and flashes at B, and saying they're boosted up next to the tree, just spotting a glance over the wall as to see what's coming his way. But now he does have that gun in hand, does spot out Tux. They're taking down that AWP, and the man who'd been such a thorn in the side of Incept all night has gone down very early on, and Exile Eliminating that threat there is Mizu, almost meaningless in his contribution that round as he tried to flank, but ultimately he was taken down with the knife in hand. Incept, they shut down the B attack, and after 3 minutes thinking through their strategy and getting their thoughts in order during that tactical pause, didn't prove to be much use as Incept shut down that attack. They look strong here. They look to put away Exile 5.
It's been quite convincing from them too at the moment. As I think that's probably the key takeaway from this is Incept teamwork fundamentals just so much better than XL5s in this matchup, and really expecting a little bit more from XL5, particularly under the guidance of an experienced in-game leader like Ferg, to really bring together the team. But at the moment, it's just not showing, as we now see XL5, as we said, on that Tech 9 / AK quasi buy, as MFM does get put under pressure. Again, gets taken down. Mizu with that opening frag, making that AK work. Bit of a shuffle here now from Incept as they try and defend this A bomb site. That Molotov's perfect place just to push them off the veranda there as Udex does get taken down. Pex takes the frags there. Exia gets one, but is taken down. Chaotic now left in a 4 versus 1. Or should I say Exia left in a 4 versus 1. Should look to be saving his weapon here, but at the moment I don't think XL5 are too interested in chasing. It would be to no avail.
Yeah, I think the CTs at the moment, whilst they've actually been winning the rounds, if we take a quick look at the economy, they don't actually have as much as we might expect. So Exia at the moment is actually probably desperate to save that M4 into the next round because it doesn't have much in the bank, neither do his teammates, and it will be a round going X5's way. They did a good job there of overwhelming that A bomb site. Ferg trying to make the distraction there in the drop room. Another example of a Molotov that didn't quite go as planned, as it actually cut off his attack towards drop and he was forced to retreat. But good work nonetheless by XL5, making do with that quasi-buy as you suggested. And it looks as though question coming out potentially, just making sure everything's right with the server. Should be fine, I think, as the players confirm that. And the match will continue as is. Yeah,
I think the server might have skipped there. I'm thinking it was a laggy Go TV, but nonetheless, players confirm it is the server. Nonetheless, they are going to play this round out. Now, we do see Incept, as we said, as a result of having their money put under a bit of stress on that Eco, the only remaining gun with Exia at the B platform, as he actually relinquishes his position.
But notice the difference in their approach this round, where they've actually opted to eco when they're on low money, as opposed to Cache, where they forced the issue in a similar situation where they were up 14-8. They had plenty of rounds to play with, and they were a little bit too keen to try and close out that match this time. I like the fact that they're taking a more conservative, standard approach, and Exia are actually putting that gun to good use in terms of finding the opening frag. And if they have their wits about them, Zane should be able to recover that gun. But at the moment, he's actually pushing through the B platform. Hasn't actually opted to go back and get that gun in hand, so I'm really surprised by that decision there. It was gettable at the back of the platform. As far as I'm aware, it hasn't disappeared, it's still lying there, and Incept at the moment will have to make do with just pistols in this 3v3.
That they will. Now, they are going to force the CTs to rotate, and looks to be a correct call too from a counter-terrorist perspective. There's only one member will rotate over to join Chaotic at the B bomb site. XL5 have chosen their target and will try and make things do as those smokes come in. MFM and Chaotic. Chaotic just sitting in cheeky Nando's. Will get found out here by Ferg. Let's get taken out quite quickly as well. So they have their entry into the B bomb site. Tux takes down MFM and it leaves Zudex in a 1 versus 3. Difficult position for him, but he has a CZ. And they do the dance around the pole. Just showing a little bit of shoulder here and there. They know his position. He's taken down quite quickly. XL5 trying to close this gap.
Yeah, and the Tux and Ferg show continues. Actually, both of those members, from an XL5 standpoint, getting all 5 frags between them. So certainly they can hold their heads high at the end of the night. They've given a great account of themselves individually. At the moment, though, they might need a little bit more support as they look to mount this comeback here. Incept opting to just buy pistols here and try and fortify and shore up their economy. I like this decision again from them. They've got plenty of rounds to play with. They'll easily be able to afford any weaponry of their choice next round. Surprised, though, last round that we didn't see them recover that gun. Nonetheless, they'll be looking to establish their presence here. Actually opting to stack 4 members towards B, 2 at drop, 2 towards the broken wall, and Tux at the moment just keeping his distance. And probably the smarter play here. He doesn't have the advantage of the X-ray, but you can see the pressure that the CTs are applying as they go for the double boost. X actually took a lot of damage there.
The jumping CZ bing. Not enough to get a frag though, but Incept just putting him under pressure. XL5, as they do make it work. They are going to hit this bomb site eventually, but they're just waiting to see whether or not there's any kamikaze counter-terrorists willing to continually push at them again, as we do see MFM get boosted onto the platform there. Doesn't get taken down, and they know where Zane is. As CZ is made to work. He finds one frag. He's darting all around like a madman, but not able to find another frag. Interesting round nonetheless. I do believe there is a pause coming in. So, Incept. It will give XL5 a chance to talk things out a little bit further.
I think Zane actually just lagging, so it's not a tech pause. Unfortunately, his internet has spiked up a little bit. He's at about 400 ping at the moment, but it's probably going to work out the best for them in the sense that now they have the opportunity to think things through. This is an all-important gun round for them. This isn't do or die just yet. Even if they were to lose this round, they would still be able to wait a little bit longer on a subsequent round and get another buy-in. But for good measure at the moment, these guys are going to be so desperate to try and close this out. They've been so strong all night, but perhaps the tendency from Case carrying over where they've had a little bit of difficulty in terms of closing out the matches, but they'll be looking to do so now and close out whilst the pressure is still relatively low, as we do see Zudex already opting to buy that AWP in his hands here. I like that. He's been so strong all night with that AWP, and also the secondary weapon that goes along with it, Tech 9 at times, but also some of the other pistols. But it looks as though the intent here is clear. They'll try and get Zudex involved very early on. Curious to see whether potentially he pushes down mid for an early spot. We've seen that XL5 had been quite intent, even on rounds in which they have headed towards B. They do send some early presence towards A, so that potential for an early frag with that AWP is real at both sides.
I'd be interested to see how they utilise it this round. As we said, I think XL5, when Mizu had it, he was pushing and looking for those frags actively with that orb, and it was really quite effective, and at least disrupting the terrorists' rhythm that they were getting into in the early rounds, because they were constantly fearful of being either picked off or being pushed. So just doing a little bit to unsettle the rhythm bout. XL5 have actually lost a member here, so I think Pex is the one that's been made victim.
Timed out. Yeah, this scares me. I'm just getting back recollections. I think the title on Twitch at the moment is still referring to Chiefs vs Legacy. Well, I think these timeouts and players disconnecting is a horrible flashback to that experience where we'll pause for about an hour to an hour and a half at one point. We know the dad jokes had to make an appearance.
Do I have to
Not now.
Google some this time?
No, not now. Not now. I'm just saying. I'm just getting bad memories. We won't get, if we get to the half an hour mark, then the dad jokes.
That 30-minute. Oh,
that's the truth.
That was 4.5 hours for best of 3. I don't think we're anywhere in that range just yet.
I think from XL5's perspective, they probably wouldn't mind that, only in the sense that it means that they'll perhaps get through this map, or at least their season's hopes are extended for a little while longer, because Incept at the moment are looking the stronger of the two teams. But it's funny to actually see the way, particularly on this map, if we can bring up the scoreboard and just look at the way the momentum has been such a decisive factor. You can see that really there have been times when each team have been able to string together the rounds, and more so than any match in recent history that I can think of, it's really been a way in which when one team is winning and controls the pace and controls the economy, they've had their way for short periods of time.
It's been interesting. I think certainly Incept have been able to stabilise a little bit better than XL5.
Looks as though the unpause has come in, but just because the time limit was reached. But unfortunately for Zane here, his ping is still quite untenable. It's up around 300 or 400, so looks as though they will continue to play here. He'll be relying on his teammates as he does lag his way around the corner. It looked as though on the screen Zudex there that was lagging a little bit, but nonetheless he's taken down, and Incept automatically on the back foot here. They're down to 4 members, one of which has some horrible internet issues at the moment, and MFM trying to recover that all. Does that, will now back off, but advantage XL5 very early on.
Yeah, great opening frag there. Key battle too. We said Zudex has been so he's on with the AWP. I mean, he's been so sharp with it. Some of those shots that he was hitting, certainly highlight reel worthy, but he's been instrumental too in shaping the way that XL5 have had to play around that AWP of Zudex. They've been actively avoiding him as well. So now that he's out of the picture, a little bit easier for them. Zane actually flashes himself into that smoke. Does a lot of damage to Ferg, but doesn't actually get the frag. So MFM taking that AWP, gets one that was so close to being a collateral, the double frag, and will change his position and get in that sight.
Yeah, the T's fast encroaching upon its territory though, and it will be Mizu who gets that frag. So important, Mizu hasn't had the best of run tonight, but that was a good frag when required. Is thinking about recovering that AWP, does so now, knowing that Tux is dead. The CTs don't have any intent of going for this retake as they've already backed off towards the B side. Chaotic and X here, and the CTs actually didn't have much of a read, potentially, that A attack was coming in. That's why their members now, both surviving CTs, were so far away from the site. They'd lost that early member in the form of Zudex going for that AW pick and side halls, and as a result had to play quite passively thereafter. Like you said, Cobble, 4 choke points, only 4 CTs alive. They had to hold back a little bit and prove to be their downfall.
Right, and we do see Exia and Chaotic just saving in the drop room. Dan's is actually really close by, but he won't check that way. So they do take those guns into the next round. So decent save coming out from those guys. But they'll be instrumental now in the next round. Funnily enough, the CT money, as we would have expected, is quite all over the place. And they will pause again for, or at least try and give Zane a chance to stabilise his ping. And I think, well, from Incept's perspective, something that they're going to need, particularly if they're going to close out this match against XL5. They need all 5 players.
Well, it's a really interesting prospect to me as to whether they even buy into this round. I'm more of the line of thought that given the fact that they did save 2 M4s, 2, I guess, full armors there, body armor in the least for both members, kits in hand, even some utility, that they should buy this round. I think that that's enough of a base to buy around that. They've got about 3 to 3.1k in the other members, so perhaps Famous armor could go to good use in that instance, or even opting to go for a shotgun or an SMG. Given the close quarters of a map like Cobblestone, it can be quite viable at some choke points, particularly drop room I'm thinking of, to play the shotgun, the Mag 7 at close range, even a pistol such as a 5.7. So there's certainly options, a lot of options actually for Incept in this instance.
An SMG as well with that high rate of fire.
Yeah. So there's options here as we're suggesting, and potentially talking that through at the moment. It can be quite difficult now for them though, in the sense that they're getting a little bit distracted by the pauses as they're coming in. Obviously the pauses impact both teams, but particularly Incept, who are perhaps getting a little bit anxious to close out this map. They know that they're now in a precarious position with their economy, and perhaps just trying, desperate to find a way to get across the line now. Can play a little bit of mind games and havoc with their mental state as they now have to wait a little bit longer before they have that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I just hope for Incept's sake that they actually go on to close this one out, because if this goes to a third map and they surrender a lead like this, it doesn't bode well for a team that comparatively wouldn't have as much experience. I mean, it can be difficult to cope with a loss, particularly one that you actually led the entire match and then in the final stages, such as this, failed to close it out. So they're usually tough losses to bounce back from.
Jeez, I hope we don't go to a third map, Jim. I'm not sure if my body's going to be able to hold up, mate. I've started getting pains in my arm here. I'm struggling, mate.
I mean, you should probably check in your purse. I'm sure you got a pill for that.
You didn't even show the slightest sign of concern in you.
I
I've got Stripe open so I can see your emotions in your face at the right now, and no concern or worry at all for my well-being.
No, not at all. Not at all, mate. Not in the slightest.
I thought we had that cast of bond going on, Jim. I thought we looked out for each other. Is that the laugh of dismissal? Is that what that is?
Yeah. I like the way too that you've, because I've got us up on the caster cam overlay at the moment. The best part is, because I know your Skype is on your second monitor, so it's to effectively your right. So when you look at it, you look at me on the Skype window. You actually look towards the center of the window. Mine's on. Mine's actually in the center. I should position mine to the left so that we actually look.
We're looking at
each other when we talk.
Well, that would be polite. That's good manners. That is.
It could be fantastic, and often I might have to pull out the guitar if if this pause goes for any longer. I mean, it would be better surely than the dad jokes that we had last time. Surely.
All the players at the moment, they're just trying to entertain themselves. They're twirling around their crosshair around the screen, making pretty little pictures in the sky. But for the time being, we might have to wait a little bit longer. But it's funny. This season has just seemed to come and gone for me. I'm not sure what your impressions or reflections are, but we're now technically entering the 5th week. We know that this is a 4th round matchup that was postponed, but the LAN finals, they'll be upon us in a couple of weeks, 16th to the 17th of April. So that's only 3.5 weeks away.
Yep.
I'm quite looking forward to this philosophy of having 4 CG seasons in a year. I like what that will mean for the scene in terms of teams potentially getting promoted from Div 2 and unfortunately for some getting relegated from Div 1. I think that having more seasons in a year will mean that it will be a much more exciting prospect for teams who have that tangible way of gauging their success and moving up through the ranks, even down in some instances, but with that opportunity to bounce back again. I think that's great for the scene. So I'm looking forward to this relegation/promotion.
Yeah, I mean, ideally too, you want teams to stick it out through those periods as well. I mean, if they do find themselves promoted, excellent. That's ideally the way that you'd want them to play. It'd be interesting to see maybe if a team lasted the duration in the sense that they did enough to get promoted in the first instance to Div 1, maybe then got relegated. I'd be interested to see how they then fared in their next shot at the Division 2. So once they came back down a division...
Div 2, Div 1, Div 2.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see whether or not a team that would actually possess the resilience to, I guess, push through that. I think maybe the only instance I can think of would maybe be Control VP currently in our teams, but in their case, I do believe they've sat out a season or so.
What do you mean sat out? They're playing in Div 2 this season. They're currently second.
Last CG season, I don't think they actually played.
I think for me, I probably agree with you with that assessment, at least in terms of Control VP. I'm not sure about the others. I'd probably have to give a little bit more thought to it. But for me, I think one of the reasons potentially why they might be willing to do so, if it did go down that way, was because they've been quite open about the fact that they play for fun, a lot of these teammates. They've been long-time friends. We know that a lot of the players, Oxy, Buster, Jazz, or Sar as he now tags up, they've been around longer than we have in the Counter-Strike scene, dating back to the early 2000s, playing Sydney LANs for a long, long time, back in the day when really there wasn't as much to play for, and it was all about playing with friends and that competitive outlet. So for me, I'm not surprised to see that they're happy just plugging away these days, obviously trying to win, but nonetheless, if things don't go their way, they're still happy to still turn up, much as they have been their entire career.
Yeah, definitely. I must admit, I agree with their philosophy of playing for fun. I mean, surely the aspirations of going overseas for those guys a little bit far-fetched, but nonetheless, the game is resumed. We're back.
That's right. It looks as though Zane potentially has been subbed out for Cool Jinx, their substitute, so not able to fix his lag issues. Cool Jinx, we trying to... As MFN shoots Zudex, gives away the position of both members of B, and as a result, MFM takes a lot of damage. They're down to 17 points of health. So not the best start to the round here for Incept. They are in a situation where they actually had 2 rifles. Let's not forget, before the pause, it was both Chaotic and Exie who saved out those guns side by side in drop rooms. They would have been, I guess, hopeful of their chances this round, but that's not going to help themselves as they shoot each other. Exie has found a frag though onto Tux, so things boding well here for Incept as X5 look to close out this round, but perhaps a little bit tentative in their play at the moment.
That's right. That's the opening that they potentially need as well. So we see Chaotix really in close quarters there with Mizu and Co at the bottom of mid, but they're going to back off XL5. They're going to resume proceedings back towards that B bomb site.
Well, the key thing for me is that both of the members that had the guns on the CT side, Chaotic and Exie, they were stacked towards A. So it's the right read here for XL5 to move back towards B. The rotation has now come in, so it's meant that there are 4 CTs on the site to defend against it. MFM, you can see him gobbling at the back of the platform at the moment, but he's flushed out very quickly with that Molotov taken down from Mizu, proving that he can do 4 tops to 4 feet in some instances. Finds the second food there onto Exie as well, so the threat has been nullified. This will be XL5 commanding control of the B bomb site. Chaotic doing a good job of finding one, but the bomb now planted, recognising that having to go 1 versus 3, despite potentially some members of the terrorist force having taken some damage earlier on in the round, was probably not going to end in his favour. He's backed off, he'll look to save that gun, and the terrorists will just be content to win this round. They won't be going on the hunt, at least not anytime soon.
No. They'll be keen to just shore the round up and see things out to the very end. In fact, Chaotic, funnily enough, should be able to save an AWP out here as well. So there's an AWP on the danger stairs that he should be able to pick up. At the moment, I think he's just holding onto that rifle, making sure that no one's in close up proximity to him. Good choice there. Does pick up that AWP as well. Takes down Mizu. And stands maybe within striking distance here. Had his knife out instead, though. Gets absolutely flattened by Chaotic. And Incept take that AWP into the round. It's getting closer, though. That gap is narrowing.
Yeah, 14-12, but can we just say Chaotic has been in absolute beast mode on this map. He's got 27 frags at the moment. I know those last couple were as the T's were trying to hunt him down with the round already lost, but nonetheless, he's put up a fantastic showing for himself. The entry fragger of Incept doing a great job as it is a buy coming out here from the CTs, as you suggested, and that early smoke will stop their progress towards the drop room as Cool Jinx, the sub, launches a HE grenade up there and it bounces back, tags Pex down to 82 points of health. He's content just to sit there at the moment, and as the CTs position themselves, I'm curious to see the fact that that AWP actually boosted up next to Tree. Doesn't leave much room for falling back, potentially having to jump off the platform behind him, but it will be Cool Jinx nonetheless, who actually opens up the exchange, and the sub coming up trumps for his team.
Yeah, that Molotov forcing him to change his position and take that firefight against his will, seemingly, Pex, but working out in the favour of the counter-terrorist. Too much shoulder shown there. Chaotic taken down by Tux, and that's the opening that they need to hit this B bomb site. Ferg goes on to find the second frag there into Exile, but they need to cross very, very low at the moment. Ferg, he does get taken down before he can actually get the bomb out, but Mizu is able to square that ledger, and the CTs at the moment are at a disadvantage. It is a 2 versus 3. That flash, great work there, man, from Malta and his teammate, but of course it's no avail. No terrorists are in sight. It's actually going to boost into the drop room, so I believe that's been communicated. The sound has come through. Tux has heard that, so Mizu, great communication there, opening it up and allows Tux to check his back and not be flanked at all. So MFM now caught behind that smoke. You would expect this goes the way of Exile 5.
Yeah, he's just biding his time at the moment. I think maybe just trying to see if any of the T's were willing to push out that way and he did an exit frag or two. But the terrorists have so much money at the moment that it's probably almost inconsequential. I think the bigger objective for him should just be to save his own gun, and he looks through that now as he backs off. Tuck's just clearing out the A site, but all to no avail. He won't spot eyes with MFM. He's actually running back towards T spawn. So good work there from XL5, actually navigating what could have been quite a difficult situation. They were 4 versus 5. Let's not forget the Cool Jinx opened up the exchange onto Pex there at drop room. So they bounced back. They went towards the B side, and I guess we were questioning, as the CTs were sitting up early in that round, that positioning of the AWP. It was positioned as such that they wouldn't be the first CT to spot eyes onto that broken wall. And we saw that Tux was able to take full advantage of that as he used his own AWP to open up that part of the map. Incept now, they have force board again, so like you said, 14-13, things heating up right now.
Really, really close between these two teams at the moment. This is a key round in this matchup at the moment, as we do see XL5 slowly trying to take control of the B platform. At the moment, though, Exile is the one holding things down. That Molotov, not enough to draw him out of his place. It's nowhere near his position, but it allows Tux to just focus on the rest of the platform. Does get that frag as well, so great work from him. Opening things up for XL5. They're going to flash themselves out. Zudex, though, while flashed, squares that ledger, gets that frag.
Massive kill and blind nonetheless, and it's giving his team a hope in this round. It's now down to a 4-4. Pex relying on the smoke to cover his back, trusting that the CTs won't jump through the window as such, and as a result plays it perfectly, takes down the first, and here's the footsteps there as Chaotic rotating back towards A, because that's the direction in which the bomb is now headed. But Pex has found himself a second kill for the round, halting that rotation now as Zudex can't progress through those doors. Pex grabs his third for the round, and now Chaotic has a net around him as Pex is looking for the CT. Can he get the fourth? He spots him out. Ultimately, Chaotic wins that duel, but that'll be all he's winning this round as he's forced to back off. Not before Ferg connects with his head, and 14 or XL5 not willing to say die just yet.
No, they're not rolling over just yet without a fight. This is the XL5 that we were expecting in the first instances of this matchup, but leaving a little bit late at the moment. Incept, as we said, have been on 14 rounds for quite some time, and surely the anxiety is starting to get to them a little bit, being so close for so long, yet not having enough to land those final few blows and take down XL5. But cautious opening to the round here from both teams, as we do see them slowly start to take XL5, that is, take control of his side halls. Pistol buy coming in at the moment, working trumps for MFM, and they're going to need it. This is a key round.
Well, he's already found the first frag, but Chaotic boosted up as well, and you can see that Pex perhaps a little bit suspicious, but Chaotic holding his nerve at the moment. He's waiting for it. Pex is walking up the stairs. They will meet. It will be Chaotic. They're taking him down, picking up that AK. So 4 versus 3 now, making it 3 versus 3. Ferg taking down 1, but the AK coming into full fruition there as Exile 5 now find themselves having to go 1 versus 3. Chaotic, he picks up his third. All left up to Dan's now, and Dan's, he's been quiet for most of the night. You can see at the moment the CT's just setting themselves up well. They know the bomb is down in the B main, or the staging area, it's fair to call it. Dan's has now recovered, and he's making his way through that staging area. He will catch one off guard, gets the second. Exile has gone down as well, doubling up as Dan's looks to make his way onto the B side here, and MFM having to go 1 versus 1, actually making his way on the flank, but he should be able to recover a gun here whilst he just has a pistol at the moment. It will be an AWP that he's found, actually moving his way through the drop, trying to use the long range, and the AWP spots out Dan's, takes him down. He's happy about it, and why would you not be, as Exile 5 had done a great job of stringing together the 7 rounds in a row up until that point, and as luck would have it, Incept able to win out with those pistols, 15-14, the anxiety perhaps put aside for the time being as they now have a match point.
Fantastic work from Incept in that instance to get that down. I mean, XL5 looks so flustered too. I'm not sure how MFM got away though after getting that first frag. I mean, doing his best David Copperfield impression.
I've got no idea, to be honest. Like you said, he got the frag, but there was 2 members, I think, at close range to him. Allowed him to survive, and ultimately he proved to be their saviour in the end. We now see XL5 in a do-or-die situation. They need this round to take to overtime, and Tux moves towards the back of that platform very early on here, but the HE grenades are good here as Dan's. He's tagged down. Tux is down to 50 as well, so they've already lost the combined 100 HP and haven't even spotted out a CT yet. Tux now makes that his objective. He pulls out that AWP, just very cautious potentially of anyone being behind the statue, but he's also cautious about where he's standing as that Better Flames is placed carefully behind him, but it's not going to force him out of his position yet. XL5 gambling here, Jim. They're all going towards this B attack.
That's right. They're all in now. Ferg's actually volunteered to be the first one straight into that bomb site. That boost is coming in, though, from Incept here. Chaotic might get caught out. In fact, their frags are flowing left, right, and centre. And just done my best Elmer Fudd impression, but nonetheless, they are going to get into this bomb site here. Chaotic is the closest. They're just caught in limbo at the moment, XL5. They have to take these Angels. Exia gets the first frag. As now it is a 3 versus 1. 4 versus 1 make it impossible to do for Dan's. Unable to make it. Incept take this 2-0 against expectation and against our prediction too. Props to Incept for proving us wrong there. Quite a strong performance all round, despite it bleeding out a little bit there on that second map, which was Cobblestone.
Chaotic. What an incredible performance. He finished up with 33 kills on that second map, but those 3 kills that he got on that second last round when they ultimately won on Eco were instrumental to his team's chances. This was an XL5 that actually won 7 rounds in a row up until that point. The CTs, you were thinking, geez, are we even looking at a third map here? Let alone the opportunity to go to overtime, but Chaotic boosted up there, caught Pex off guard, that one AK. He was able to catch both third and another member, ultimately allowing MFM to be in that position to go 1 versus 1. Won that duel against Dan's, and the rest is history. But what a fantastic display, I think it's fair to say, tonight from Incept. They were well and truly deserving of this 2-0 victory. And XL5, I think they'll be really disappointed, but more so shocked to find themselves losing out 2-0.
Yeah, I really can't add anything more to that. I think that's summed up perfectly. XL5 against expectation. Went down 2-0, an impressive showing. The fundamentals of Counter-Strike are strong in Incept at the moment. That teamwork, that trading, the communication lines are clearly quite strong for a team that we wouldn't say we're not going to give them the tag of up-and-comers because they've been around for quite some time. They've slowly been doing damage, and at the moment I think if they can make a late run in the season, they might be a potential dark horse here for come the LAN finals.
Well, they've kept their hopes alive. That's what they needed to do tonight. If they lost tonight, they were gone. But by winning, they now moved to 2-2 on the ladder and really keep their hopes alive of making it to Sydney. We know that the LAN finals are April 16 to 17, so that'll be fantastic. We said that this was our first opportunity. We had to actually cast these guys, and what a tremendous BO2 it was. I actually really enjoyed that. We saw some great positive signs from those guys. I think they can be really proud of their performance tonight. A lot of positives to take away, and keen to see how they go later on in this week.
Yeah, definitely.
That'll probably do us, I think, Jim.
Yeah, keen to see more from these guys. But of course, that will wrap up this evening's games. I think there's still plenty more action to come this week. That, of course, was a match from last week. So, was week 4. We're in week 5 currently, so we'll have some week 5 matches for you coming up this week. No doubt. I've, of course, been Jim Inesso, one of your commentators this evening. Joining me was PK Noodle.
Just for the record, an injured PK Noodle. I've done a good job of pulling through nonetheless.
Yeah, that heartlage of yours. Oh,
No, it's the arm, mate. The arm. It's sore.
is that your handbag bearing arm? Probably gonna have to
All
attend
right,
a seminar after this.
yeah, that's right.
And
Same one as Mizu and how to use Molotovs. Jesus.
that's a completely different, completely different issue. Nonetheless, it's been fun, guys. I hope you enjoy your evening as well. Take it easy. We'll see you next time.
See you later.